Sometimes a simpler approach to market analysis can be the best approach. And trend lines and drawing tools can be a simple way to highlight what's really going on in a chart. Trend lines are based on the concept that higher lows indicate an upward trend, and lower highs indicate a downward trend, and that if a trend line is broken, it may indicate a new trend direction. TradeStation has a powerful trend line drawing tool that allows you to easily draw trend lines on your chart. Trend lines are available from the drawing button at the top of the chart. Here you'll find a number of additional drawing and notation tools. Let's click on trend line. How about from this low here to this low here? The two large white boxes that you see on this trend line are the anchor points. The trend line is actually drawn between those 2 points, and we're extending that line to the right. I drew this trend line in freehand mode. I can move these anchor points anywhere on the chart. But typically we want to anchor those points to one of the price points on the bar. We can make this easier using snap mode. With the trend line highlighted, if I right click, I can click on snap mode. Now the anchor points will snap to the various points on the bar. This makes it easier to get to the exact point that you're looking for. I'm going to zoom in with the zoom tool to show you how this works. Here at the top of the chart, there's a magnifying glass that allows me to zoom in. I'm going to highlight a section of the chart and it zooms us in. In snap mode, notice that as I get closer to the next point on the bar, which is here, the open, it snaps to the open. And if I move farther up, it snaps to the close. And if I move even farther up, it snaps to the high, or it will snap to any of those bar points on any of the other bars. It just makes it easy to get to the exact point that you need. Let's zoom back out. So remember, just right click and select snap mode. This is a toggle, so right now snap mode is on. If I click it again, snap mode is now off. If we right click on the mouse, we can look at the right mouse button menu for trend lines. At the top, we can get to the Edit Trendline dialog. Or we can change the color, the style, the weight, the transparency. We can lock the trend line on the chart. We can extend left or right. We can assign a label to the trend line. We can draw a new parallel line. And of course, we can use snap mode. We can also remove the trend line by clicking Remove Trend Line. But typically, the way I remove a trend line from the chart is just highlight it and then press the Delete key on the keyboard. Another great feature of trend lines in charting is that it's a measuring tool. Let's draw another trend line. This time, let's draw a trend line from this low to this high. By holding my mouse button down on the trend line, I get a data tip. It shows me the beginning and ending anchor points. It shows me the angle of the trend line, the net change, or the number of points between the low and the high that we're measuring, the percent change, and the number of bars. These are daily bars, so it's 19 daily bars or 28 calendar days. What if we want to measure from this high to this low? Again, it's the anchor points that matter. I hold down my mouse button. Here I can see that it's a 45-degree angle. The net change is 16 points. The percent change is 27%. This occurred in 131 daily bars, or about 6 months. Now, if I want to draw a 45-degree trend line, say from this anchor point at the low, what I can do is I can grab the other anchor point, and as I drag it, keep my mouse button held down, and you'll notice that I can see that angle right there, and I can find a point where it's 45 degrees or close to it. There it is, right there. And now I have a 45-degree trend line. Trend lines have a lot of cool features, and my favorite is turning a trend line into a linear regression line. Here I'm going to click on the trend line, right click, and say Edit Trend Line. So this is the custom trend line dialog, and on the Calculations tab, there's a linear regression choice. Here I can select regression. I want the regression to be based on the close of each bar, and click OK. And so now I have a linear regression line. If I hold my mouse button down, I can see that that linear regression line is based on 64 bars. So if I drag it, I have a 64-bar linear regression that I can see how that linear regression changes historically at different points in the chart. What you might want to do is to create a linear regression channel and then have additional parallel lines at some standard deviation above and below that. There's a drawing tool that does that automatically. If I go to drawing, I can click regression channel. Here I can select a point and another point. There's the anchor. And now I can see how that linear regression channel changes, how the volatility changes as I move it through the chart. There are lots of other drawing tools to explore and utilize in your trading, including Fibonacci tools, time cycles, and Gann fans. Thanks for watching this Trade Bite.